गति शक्ति कल्पना के प्रणेता एवं मार्गदर्शक माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी को अपने आशीर्वचन देने के लिए मैं सादर आमंत्रित करता हूं।
नमस्कार। इस साल के बजट ने 21वीं सदी के भारत के विकास की गति शक्ति निर्धारित कर दी है। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर आधारित विकास की यह दिशा हमारी अर्थव्यवस्था के सामर्थ्य में असाधारण वृद्धि करेगी। इससे देश में रोजगार की भी अनेक संभावनाएं बनेगी। फ्रेंड्स, आमतौर पर हमारे यहाँ पुराना जो अनुभव रहा है और ज्यादातर एक परंपरा बन गई है कि जब जैसी जरूरत हो वैसे ही इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का निर्माण कर लिया जाए, यानी टुकड़ों में आवश्यकता के अनुसार होता रहता था। और उसमें भी केंद्र, राज्य, स्थानीय निकाय और प्राइवेट सेक्टर में तालमेल की कमी होने का देश ने बहुत नुकसान उठाया। जैसे रेल का काम हो या रोड का काम हो, इन दोनों के बीच में सामंजस्य का अभाव और टकराव हम कई जगह पे देखते हैं। हमारे यहाँ भी होता रहा है कि कहीं एक रोड बनी तो दूसरे दिन पानी की पाइप बिछाने के लिए उसे खोद दिया गया। रोड दोबारा बनी तो सीवर लाइन बिछाने वाले ने आकर के उसको खोद दिया। ऐसा इसलिए होता है क्योंकि विभिन्न विभागों के पास स्पष्ट जानकारी नहीं होती है। पीएम गति शक्ति के कारण अब हर कोई पूरी जानकारी के बीच अपनी योजना बना पाएगा। इससे देश के रिसोर्सेज का भी ऑप्टिमम यूटिलाइजेशन होगा। साथियों, आज जिस बड़े पैमाने पर हमारी सरकार इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट पर काम कर रही है, उसमें पीएम गति शक्ति बहुत बड़ी हमारी एक आवश्यकता है। वर्ष 2013-14 में भारत सरकार का डायरेक्ट कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर करीब 2.25 लाख करोड़ रुपए था, जो 22-23 में बढ़कर 7.5 लाख करोड़ रुपए हो गया है। ये लगभग 4 गुना बढ़ोतरी है। नेशनल हाईवे हो, रेलवे हो, एयरवे, वाटरवे हो, ऑप्टिकल फाइबर कनेक्टिविटी हो, गैस ग्रिड हो, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी हो, हर क्षेत्र में सरकार ने इन्वेस्टमेंट बढ़ाया है। इन क्षेत्रों में हमारी सरकार बहुत बड़े लक्ष्यों को लेकर आगे बढ़ रही है। पीएम गति शक्ति से इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्लानिंग, इंप्लीमेंटेशन और मॉनिटरिंग को एक बहुत ही कोऑर्डिनेटेड रूप में हम आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं, एक नई दिशा में काम कर सकते हैं। इससे परियोजनाओं के टाइम और कॉस्ट ओवररन में भी कमी लाई जा सकेगी। साथियों, आप सभी जानते हैं कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन्वेस्टमेंट का बहुत बड़ा मल्टीप्लायर इफेक्ट होता है। ये ईज ऑफ लिविंग के साथ ही ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस को भी सुधारता है। इससे सभी सेक्टर्स की इकोनॉमिक प्रोडक्टिविटी को भी शक्ति मिलती है। आज जब देश इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट को अभूतपूर्व गति दे रहा है, तो उससे इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी भी बढ़ेगी और जॉब क्रिएशन भी उतना ही बढ़ेगा। साथियों, हमारी सरकार ने कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म के सिद्धांत को मजबूती देते हुए इस साल के बजट में राज्यों की सहायता के लिए 1,00,000 करोड़ रुपए का प्रावधान किया है। राज्य सरकारें इस राशि का उपयोग मल्टी मॉडल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और अन्य प्रोडक्टिव एसेट पर कर पा सकेगी। देश के दुर्गम पहाड़ी क्षेत्रों में कनेक्टिविटी सुधारने के लिए नेशनल रोपवे डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम शुरू किया जा रहा है। हमारी सरकार नॉर्थ ईस्ट के संतुलित विकास के लिए भी कमिटेड है। इन राज्यों की आवश्यकता को देखते हुए 1,500 करोड़ रुपए की लागत से पीएम डिवाइन योजना की भी घोषणा की गई है। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्षेत्र में सरकार द्वारा किए जा रहे इन्वेस्टमेंट, उसके साथ साथ प्रोडक्शन लिंक इंसेंटिव स्कीम आने वाले वर्षों में देश के विकास को नई ऊंचाई पर ले जाएगी। ये सारे प्रयास इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्रिएशन के इस नए युग में आपके लिए नई इकोनॉमिक संभावनाओं के द्वार खोलेंगे। मैं कॉरपोरेट वर्ल्ड से, देश के प्राइवेट सेक्टर से कहूंगा कि सरकार के साथ कदम से कदम मिलाकर निवेश करें और देश के विकास में अपना गौरवशाली योगदान दें। फ्रेंड्स, आपको ये भी पता है कि पीएम गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान में अब 400 से अधिक डेटा लेयर उपलब्ध है। इससे न केवल एग्जिस्टिंग और प्लान इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की जानकारी मिलती है, बल्कि इसमें फॉरेस्ट लैंड, अवेलेबल इंडस्ट्रियल एस्टेट जैसी इंफॉर्मेशन भी है। मेरा सुझाव है कि इसका उपयोग प्राइवेट सेक्टर अपनी प्लानिंग के लिए ज्यादा से ज्यादा करे। नेशनल मास्टर प्लान पर सभी जरूरी सूचनाएं एक सिंगल प्लेटफॉर्म पर उपलब्ध हो रही हैं, जिससे प्रोजेक्ट अलाइनमेंट और विभिन्न प्रकार के क्लियरेंस डीपीआर स्टेज पर ही प्राप्त करना संभव हो सकेगा। ये आपके कंप्लायंस बर्डन को कम करने में भी मदद होगा। मैं राज्य सरकारों से भी कहूंगा कि वो अपने प्रोजेक्ट और इकोनॉमिक जोन्स की स्थापना करते हुए पीएम गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान को भी आधार बनाएं। साथियों, आज भी भारत में लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट जीडीपी का 13 से 14% तक मानी जाती है। ये अन्य देशों की तुलना में अधिक है। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर एफिशिएंसी सुधारने में पीएम गति शक्ति की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। देश में लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट कम करने के लिए इस बजट में यूनिफाइड लॉजिस्टिक इंटरफेस प्लेटफॉर्म यूलिप बनाने का प्रावधान किया गया है। मंत्रालयों के 24 डिजिटल सिस्टम्स को इंटीग्रेट किया जा रहा है। इससे एक राष्ट्रीय सिंगल विंडो लॉजिस्टिक पोर्टल तैयार होगा जो लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट को कम करने में मदद करेगा। पीएम गति शक्ति से हमारे एक्सपोर्ट्स को भी बहुत मदद मिलेगी। हमारे एमएसएमई ग्लोबली कॉम्पिटिटिव हो पाएंगे। हमारी सरकार ने लॉजिस्टिक एफिशिएंसी में सुधार लाने के लिए लॉजिस्टिक डिवीजन और सरकार के सभी विभागों में बेहतर कोऑर्डिनेशन के लिए एम्पावर्ड ग्रुप ऑफ सेक्रेटरीज की भी व्यवस्था की है। पीएम गति शक्ति में टेक्नोलॉजी की बड़ी भूमिका आप देख ही रहे हैं और मेरा आपसे आग्रह रहेगा सरकार भी अपने स्वभाव में इस बात को लाए, प्राइवेट सेक्टर भी लाए। हम आधुनिक से आधुनिक टेक्नोलॉजी को हमारी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट के लिए कैसे लाएं, क्वालिटी भी और कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव एंड टाइम की दृष्टि से ये बहुत उपयोगी होगा। और अब तो हम ये भी सोच रहे हैं, जो भारत ने एक लीड लिया है, कि दुनिया में पाया गया जो डिजास्टर्स होते हैं, नेचुरल डिजास्टर्स, उसमें मानव हानि से भी ज्यादा लंबे असर तक प्रभाव करने वाला इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का विनाश हो जाता है। ब्रिज के ब्रिज खत्म हो जाते हैं, 20-20 साल लग जाते हैं फिर बनाने में। और इसलिए डिजास्टर रेजिलियंस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर ये आज बहुत आवश्यक हो गया है। तो जब तक टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं होगी हम उस दिशा में काम नहीं कर पाएंगे और इसलिए हम उसको भी आगे लाएं। लॉजिस्टिक सेक्टर में कार्यरत कंपनियों के पास वर्ल्ड क्लास नॉलेज एवं टूल्स है। उनका प्रयोग करते हुए देश में उपलब्ध डेटा को बेहतर इस्तेमाल हमें सुनिश्चित करना है। साथियों, गति शक्ति इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्रिएशन में सही मायने में पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप सुनिश्चित करेगी, जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्लानिंग से लेकर डेवलपमेंट तथा यूटिलाइजेशन स्टेज तक होगी। इस वेबिनार में इस बात पर भी मंथन होना चाहिए कि किस प्रकार प्राइवेट सेक्टर सरकारी व्यवस्था के साथ मिलकर बेहतर आउटकम्स हासिल कर सकते हैं। आप सभी वेबिनार के दौरान सभी मुद्दों पर गहराई से चर्चा करेंगे, मेरा पूरा विश्वास है। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के अलावा कौन से रूल्स एवं पॉलिसीज में परिवर्तन की आवश्यकता है, इस पर भी आपके सुझाव बहुत अहम होंगे। देश में आधुनिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर का निर्माण भारत की फाउंडेशन को मजबूत करेगा और पीएम गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान इसका एक महत्वपूर्ण माध्यम है। मैं इस वेबिनार की सफलता की कामना करता हूं और आशा करता हूं कि हमें आप सभी के अनुभवों का लाभ मिलेगा। मैं आपका ये भी ध्यान आकर्षित करना चाहूंगा कि आज का ये हमारा वेबिनार हमारी सरकार की तरफ से भाषणबाजी का नहीं है, हमें आपको सुनना है। अब आप भी जो बजट में बातें हुई है उसी के प्रकाश में कहेंगे तो अच्छा होगा। कुछ सुझाव आपके होंगे तो हम जब अगला बजट बनाएंगे तब सोचेंगे, उस समय आप मुझे जरूर लिख करके दीजिए। अभी तो पार्लियामेंट ने जिस बजट के लिए हमें अनुमति दे रहा है पार्लियामेंट, हमें उसी पर बल देना होगा। उसको हम अच्छे ढंग से कैसे करें। अभी हमारे पास ये मार्च का महीना बचा हुआ है, 1 अप्रैल से नया बजट लागू होगा। हम इस मार्च के महीने का ज्यादा से ज्यादा उपयोग करके 1 तारीख को ही सारी चीजें जमीन पे उतारना शुरू कर दें, ये हम कर सकते हैं क्या। दूसरा, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर बनता है तो स्वाभाविक है, अब पुराने जमाने में सारी दुनिया बसती थी नदियों के पास। जहां से नदी होती थी उसी के निकट या समंदर के निकट बड़े शहर विकसित होते थे, व्यवस्थाएं विकसित होती थी। धीरे धीरे वहां से शिफ्ट होकर के जहां बड़े बड़े हाईवेज हो वहां दुनिया विकसित होने लगी। और अब लग रहा है कि जहां जहां ऑप्टिकल फाइबर होगा वहां वहां दुनिया विकसित होती जाएगी। वक्त बदलता जा रहा है। इसका मतलब कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सिर्फ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आइसोलेटेड नहीं होता है, उसके होते ही उसके आसपास पूरे नए इकोसिस्टम डेवलप हो जाती है। इसको भी ध्यान में रखते हुए ये गति शक्ति मास्टर प्लान हमें बहुत लाभ करेगा। और इसलिए मैं चाहूंगा कि आप जो कुछ भी बजट में है उसको अच्छे ढंग से लागू कैसे करें। सरकार में भी फुल स्टॉप कॉमा की इधर उधर गलती रहती है तो 6-6 महीना फाइलें चलती हैं, उतने में तो नया बजट आ जाता है। आप लोगों से पहले से बात करने से फायदा ये होगा कि आपको पता है कि इसके कारण ये तकलीफ आएगी, और आप ध्यान आकर्षित करेंगे तो सिस्टम अभी से उसको पॉजिटिव रिस्पॉन्ड करेगी। और इसलिए आप लोग बड़ी गहराई से इसमें योगदान दें, यही मेरी अपेक्षा है। आप सबको बहुत शुभकामनाएं, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
all the delegates to the Gati Shakti Northeastern Zone Conference. I request everyone to kindly settle down, and once again I request to join Secretary GIIT and Shri S.C. Gupta, advisor. And we are taking the मान में मालूम भूत रच वे मॉडल टी और दो चौकी सी के बढ़ विश्व के शील के रहा है को सिद्ध है कि मैं मैं privileged to be present in this times where we are able to witness such growth and prosperity of our country under the able leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Well, now we start off with our first presentation, a presentation from the Department of Promotion and Industry and Internal Trade. For that, we have invite the podium Mr. Rajiv, Joint Secretary.
My initial slides that I thought I will have to introduce you to this concept. Yeah, so I'll just give you an anecdote of how this was conceptualized, when we were, I'm also responsible for National Industrial Corridor Program, and we had made a cabinet note after National Industrial Corridor NICDIT, that is Trust, approved certain projects for Krishnapatnam and Tumkur, and we have taken that to the cabinet. Their Honorable Prime Minister's briefing, he raised certain questions that, okay, you are doing the industrial zone, but what about the connectivity infrastructure? This is on some other slide coming on the screen. Just oh. So that is the when he questioned this thing, we all were wondering that how to address this, and we mapped all the connectivity infrastructure there. And then he raised the question like, okay, you have brought the connectivity infrastructure for this particular zone. What about, there are so many other departments also having their economic activity, economic zones. And that is how the vision we unfolded after 4 meetings with the Prime Minister. We could actually understand in totality that what was his vision, and we have tried to pen it down into a national master plan with help of all the partner ministries, including Petroleum and Natural Gas, which is today's co-organizer here. So we are really thankful to them. So basic idea of a PM Gati Shakti is to break silos. We all have been doing development of the nation by developing economic zones on one side. Our connectivity ministries, whether that is highways department, that is related to rail department, or civil aviation, or the waterways, or it is internet connectivity, or it is a grid system to evacuate power. They all have been doing in their own best ways, but many a times we are not able to have convergence of the economic development or economic activities on one side and the connectivity infrastructure that is getting developed. And many times the connectivity ministries, I'm very sorry to say, some of our friends from highway authorities are also there, because their mandate is limited. They are answerable to only that department, and they say that who you are to come and tell us that I provide you connectivity to your textile park or to, you know, your other park that you are putting up or an industrial cluster that you are putting up. So now this is an institutional framework where there is an arrangement on a platform which is a digitized platform, not only to have a human interaction but to cull out the data and to see the layers as to where are the economic activities mapped, where are our connectivity planning that we are doing, and therefore the PM Gati Shakti provides a comprehensive plan, a holistic planning platform to integrate all the existing and the proposed developmental activities on one digital platform to make as a decision-making support system, and to see that how there can be more value for money that we are investing into our infrastructure. And this interconnected with network of multimodal connectivity infrastructure up to the last mile, and that is what is going to give, you know, a great boost to our economy in terms of reducing costs of logistic costs. And these benefits are not only going to be, you know, limited to those who are the major industries located in the economic zones, but these benefits are surely going to percolate down to different layers, and including the consumers, to the farmer, to the youth. How it is going to benefit consumers? Because today, for example, in you take the northeastern state, I'll be coming to example of where are the consumption zones. So if the consumption zones and the production zones, if there is a better connectivity from there, so there is a reduced cost to the consumer, and thereby there is a greater benefit. Similarly, the farmers get a better access to the market, and they get a better price for the produce. Many perishable items, I mean, Northeast is known for so many of the agriculture products and other things, and because they do not reach the market because there is a not desired level of connectivity. Many of the very, very flowers and those kind of variety of flowers which are there in northeastern part of the country are not there any else in the entire country. And if there is a better flight connectivity, the same thing can reach same day to the nearest markets. So in addition to businesses, it is going to hugely benefit the other areas as well. So economic zones, there has been entire mapping of these economic zones across the country, including the food and agri zones, the fishing clusters, the defense corridors, the electronic parks, the textile parks, the pharmaceutical parks and clusters, the industrial corridors, and the tourism destinations. And similarly, we have also seen that which are the ministries that are doing the connectivity infrastructure, including highways, railways, ports, inland waterways, airports, heliports, water aerodromes, under the UDAN scheme, the national gas grid, the power transmission, including renewable energy, optical fiber network. So these are the connectivity infrastructure that is developing, and these two these two columns were working, each one of them were working in their own silos, and the whole plan is that how we can have an institutional mechanism to see that our planning process itself. And it is not something that the DPIIT or any other program. We are very happy that each of the department is owning this program, and this has to be mainstreamed into their planning process. And for this, there is a 3-tier governance structure has been visualized. There is an empowered group of secretaries that will be headed by a cabinet secretary. And this, we have not tried to create another level of bureaucratic delay mechanism by bringing the cabinet secretariat here. This is going to be a policy steering mechanism. This is going to be giving a direction to this program. This is going to give that how the scope, if it is to be enhanced, or the new areas has to be based upon our learning, based upon our feedback. So it is not going to be an approval mechanism at Cabinet Secretariat. We are not going to dump the files to Cabinet Secretariat and to see that you in individual case you make your recommendation and approval. Otherwise it may go cross purposes to the whole idea. And therefore we have tried that it is only to empower the respective departments to take a better decision making. And the second tier, Yeah. So empowered group of secretaries, and the next level is the network planning group. The network planning group is basically nothing but the heads of the planning wings of each of the infrastructure ministries. They will constitute this thing. This is not that they are going to come and sit into the logistic department. They are working in their own capacity. But as and when the projects accumulate, they will be examining from each one of the perspectives. So as we always know that whole is more than sum of its parts. So that is exactly the role of the network planning group. That you do not have to look into this thing when you will see from the multiple heads sit together and talk to each other in an institutionalized framework after examining each one of these proposals to ensure the unified planning, integration and optimization of the resources. And this will monitor all interventions in the master plan, which will be updated by BISEC, and which I'll be coming shortly. There is going to be a presentation. BISEC N is a national level institute of a national repute located in Gujarat. Bhaskaracharya National Institute for Space Application and Geoinformatics. We have another presentation today in the technical session by them. So this network planning group will be sort of bringing a holistic planning angle to that, and this all will be when the projects are they will be scrutinized by the technical support unit, which will be located in the logistic division in the DPIIT, which is headed by a special secretary, and we are having the experts from each of these infrastructure ministry. There will be expert in our this wing, which will be a link between this network planning group and the respective department. So this technical support unit will have domain experts who will be examining that projects which are to be taken to network planning group, new proposals, and they will give their comments and inputs, and network planning group will further examine the proposal and inputs which are provided by the technical support unit, and we will see that if there are any missing gaps. For example, if we are, let us say we are making, I'll be coming to that example, Jogi Ghopa in the northeastern in Assam, you are going to have a multimodal, logistic park. So whether this multimodal logistic park, how it is connected to the the railhead, to the inland waterways and other thing, and if there are any last mile connectivity gaps are there, they will be identified and they are to be taken forward. So guiding principles by network planning group will be impact on logistic efficiency, integrated approach to planning, utility for the economic clusters, and proactive identification of critical projects which are even not recommended by any ministry, but they are useful from PM Gati Shakti perspective, and they can really become a game changer for the economy if they are proactively identified. The process that is going to be there is that after the preparation of a project report and its DPR, that can also be vetted and also supported by the National Master Plan platform, which is provided by BISEC N, which is having more than 200 layers. And for example, some particular line is going, it will flag itself that, okay, you require this forest clearance because this is a national park through which your road highway is going or the gas pipeline is going. So this tool device itself can flag that what are the clearances that will be requiring the scrutiny by the planning division of the ministry. Each of the ministry which is having each of its planning division, they will be scrutinizing this DPR after these inputs, and in consonance with the PM Gati Shakti, whether it is having the convergence approach, whether it is having, connectivity to those nearby economic zones which are running from there. And this appraisal by network planning group will either lead to submission of the recommendations to the sponsoring ministry with their remarks, or if they are finding certain recommendations which are critical from the multimodal connectivity projects, from the user perspective, this will give its recommendations, and those will be again incorporated into the DPR that will be modified to that extent, and again, that is how it visualizes. So identification of the critical projects that will be, either based upon recommendation of the LEADS report. LEADS is basically logistics across different states. We are like ease of doing business, we were ranking the states. Similarly, in the logistic performance also, we are doing the ranking of the states based upon their performance on certain criterias. So if there are certain gaps which are emerging out of the LEADS recommendation in an annual report, that also will be proactively taken into consideration, that how we can, as Honorable Prime Minister told, that today logistic cost in the country is around 13 to 14%. And in the Germany, which is the best in terms of logistic, their logistic cost is below 7%. And if we have to do this journey, we have to do at the micro and granular data to identify those gaps and to bridge those gaps through this PM Gati Shakti platform. Inputs from the central ministries and the state governments, inputs from the industry association, user feedback, they'll be the, through which the identification of the critical projects can be taken. I'll not go into role of, next slide, that is a role of BISEG N, because senior officer Mr. Vinay Thakur from BISEG N will be making a presentation shortly. This master plan is a dynamic plan. It is not that something we have, given something and there cannot be changed. It is a ever evolving. Based upon this paradigm framework, if there are some projects which are developed by the ministry, they are most welcome to develop those kind of projects within their budgetary frameworks and to submit to this thing so that they can be examined from the PM Gati Shakti perspective and to the framework. Economic ministries, so they can take use of the BISEG N platform while developing their projects itself, so that you have a lot of data to support that where you should be putting your economic cluster or zone, because you have so much of data already available on spatial data. The economic ministries can also do the connectivity audit. That, for example, economic ministry is having a textile park or a let us say a IT park, and the required connectivity infrastructure, for example, is not there for a few kilometers. The national highway is going, but the 20-kilometer critical gap is there. If that is provided, so far national highway will never used to come and take these kind of smaller projects, because they will always focus on the large. But under this program, even if a project is a small, but it is a critical from the economic perspective, those projects will be pushed to the connectivity ministry to see that they take up those projects. In that context, the objectives of this particular zonal, any zonal conference, and we are very, this northeastern zone becomes very, very important for the government, and the whole idea is to have sensitization and capacity building of the stakeholders for onboarding of the PM Gati Shakti program, that all the departments of Government of India as well as the state governments, they should try to onboard this thing so that the benefits can be, multiplier impact can be really generated. So, way forward for the PM Gati Shakti's institutional framework at the state level, as you have already seen Honorable Prime Minister making a very strong appeal to the states for onboarding on this particular framework, developing roadmap for the state master plan, that how we can develop for each state the master plan, finalization of the tentative schedule for the state level PM Gati Shakti conferences. This is the 6th and the last regional conference. Once we complete this thing, we'll be going out to the states, each one of the states, and helping, handholding them through our technical wing in BISEG, as well as our other technical support unit will be handholding them to see that how they can steer their planning process toward more holistically, and how these digital platforms can be provided to them. So finalization of the tentative schedule, as I already told, and finalization of the user agencies to enable for identification of the last mile connectivity. This year, PM Gati Shakti has been a major thing in the announcements of our budget, and for the northeastern region also, there are a lot of projects which are either there in the National Master Plan or they are there in the budget announcement, and I'll be just glancing through them. That Prime Minister's Development Initiative for the Northeast region, in the spirit of PM Gati Shakti, the new scheme with the initial allocation of 1,500 crore will be implemented through the Northeastern Council, and financial allocation to the states for capital investment as already, Honorable Prime Minister has told, allocation of 1 lakh crore to assist the states as 50 years interest-free loan, and a scheme for financial assistance to states for capital investment. Similarly, if we go department-wise, MORTH, for example, length of national highway network 2 lakh route kilometers and enhancing connectivity through northeast through 3,200 kilometers of 4-laning or 2-laning of highways, and multi-modal logistic park at Jogi Ghopa and Silchar, which are visualized. Similarly, Ministry of Railway has so many of the projects which are there specifically for the northeastern region. Rail connectivity to any region through Bangladesh is, under pipeline. 7 new railway line projects likely to be commissioned, and doubling of 250 kilometers of railway line also is a part of the perspective plan for the northeast. Similarly, national waterways to enhance its capacity to almost 95 million metric ton capacity, and major activities undertaken under this thing belong to the northeastern region, where the 6 projects are undertaken for the utilizing the potential of waterways as a mode of transportation. And Ministry of Civil Aviation, for example, 220 airports or heliports or water aerodromes are planned up to 2024, which include additional 109 airports, including existing 51 airstrips, and out of them in the northeastern region there are 2 new airports, 8 heliports are visualized, and 2 water aerodromes, their feasibility is under study. Similarly, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, 2,400 kilometers of pipeline likely to be constructed in northeast region. It is under various states of study. And Department of Telecommunication, length of optical fiber cable network of 35 lakh kilometers till 2024, and this work is nearing completion in 2,50,000 gram panchayats of the country. And I'll just give you an example of that. I come from a Rajasthan, a very small village in Jodhpur district. And during the 3rd wave of COVID, my children also, because I was 20 years in Tamil Nadu, they also wanted to go, and the kind of situation prevailing in Delhi. But my biggest worry was that in village, how they will attend the classes online. And it is not to exaggerate, they were surprised that the speed in the village, so, the optic fiber connection which has reached to the Gram Panchayat and the school, through that we extended the line, and it was not lesser than what they were getting in the Delhi. So, I mean, if that kind of connectivity reaches to the villages and hinterland of the country, only 6,000 village panchayats or something will be left, 25,000 where the work is still going on, uncovered villages. Otherwise, 2,50,000 village panchayats, if they are covered with a high band, optic fiber cable. Today, the migration, which is, our urban areas are becoming extended slum clusters. There can be the benefits of economy can be reaped by the rural areas itself, because there will be purchasing power of the rural areas will be increasing. People can be more closer to their homes. There is a better work and life balance. The happiness index increases, and so on and so forth. Benefits once the, this kind of infrastructure reaches to our rural areas. Similarly, internet connectivity to Agartala through Bangladesh is also visualized in this plan. And I'll just come to the, effectively last slide, and then a small case study I'll take 2 minutes more. Suggestion by the states, as emphasized by Honorable Prime Minister, that updation of the state master plan. For this, we have nominated officer by each state for 3-4 days of the training at BISEC to operate the GIS platform and understand the data integration requirements. Institutional framework by, as I already explained to you, EGOS, Network Planning Group, Technical Support Unit, empowered group of secretaries, etc. This entire institutional framework which is there, how this can have a learning point for the states to develop their own mechanism, infrastructure audit of economic zones, gap identification, major infrastructure projects, plan the development of the economic zone near these. So whatever, if rather than having something which is developed very remotely and then we say that there is no connectivity, we should try that our economic activities are planned around the, the connectivity, the infrastructure. Just an illustration of PM Gati Shakti in the context of the Northeast by this example of multimodal logistic park at Jogi Ghopa, which is very close to Guwahati. And this particular map is showing you both agri-processing and beverages areas, the chemical, plastic, pharmaceutical industry, engineering, various kinds of industry that are located. Similarly, for example, major consumption centers in the northeastern region, we can find that these are the major consumption centers. So these are the areas where the goods and finally produced goods have to reach consumer goods. And next slide shows that connectivity infrastructure which exists today in the northeast in terms of international airports, key ports, major roads, inland waterways, railway terminals, and the major railway lines be shown in the red. This particular is a a location which is very properly identified in terms of its location. It's both sides of Saibari Jogi Ghopa Road. Distance to National Highway 17 is just 3 kilometers to southeast, and railway also terminal is just 3.5 kilometers of southeast of this thing. Distance from the nearest river port is just 6 kilometers to the south of this. So this is having a beautiful connectivity to the road, to the rail, inland waterways, and to civil aviation also, which is not very far, the Guwahati. So this is the primary hinterland that will get benefited once this multimodal logistic park comes into operation. And if we see the industrial clusters around proposed Jogi Ghopa multimodal logistic park and the northeast region, these are the industrial clusters which are already there. So when we are doing the planning, we can always have these multiple layers. I'm just giving a very, very simple and few crude examples. But those who are into the planning process, they can go to the very granular data which is available on the platform, and they can do a much better planning in terms of the connectivity infrastructure, keeping in mind that whole connectivity is there to give a boost to our economy. So therefore, it becomes very paramount that we should have mapping of our economic zones, where the economic activity is happening. And this is an illustration of cargo moving from Kolkata to Jogi Ghopa to Imphal, how this can be facilitated through these kind of connectivity infrastructure, and how we can give a boost to the economy of this region. And there's another project with the Asian Development Bank, which is for the Eastern Economic Corridor, which will also visualizes connectivity of this entire region to Southeast Asia. And once that materializes, there's a again role not only of the Economic and Infrastructure Ministry, but MEA plays a very critical role because it involves the negotiations and other things. So all these things, this region, I mean, by resource base wise, the Northeast is one of the most richest in the country. And when we see that despite so much of richness, still poverty exists, only major reason is that we are not being able to provide the required connectivity here to realize the economic potential of this region. And I'm sure that this regional conference, you'll take a lot of learnings from this thing, and each of the department who is present here, when they are doing planning, a lot of technical people are there, they should utilize this platform and the learnings of this workshop to their respective departments. Thank you very much, and sorry if I exceeded the time given to me. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such an insightful presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed for our next presentation, which is by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board, we have a short audiovisual. Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the infrastructure ministries for the Gati Shakti, which is a national master plan for integrated infrastructure development. The projects of this ministry would help establish energy connectivity across the nation. So this audiovisual will showcase the role of the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas in this national program of Gati Shakti. Please take a look.
When integration unfolds in seamless perfection, a whole new universe of possibilities is unleashed. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's vision of Gati Shakti National Master Plan for Multi-Modal Connectivity aims to realize this seamless integration of infrastructural planning and development and energize the dreams of 1 billion Indians.
पीएम गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान भारत के इसी आत्मबल को, आत्मविश्वास को, आत्मनिर्भरता के संकल्प तक ले जाने वाला है। ये नेशनल मास्टर प्लान 21वीं सदी के भारत को
When integration unfolds in seamless perfection, a whole new universe of possibilities is unleashed. Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's vision of Gati Shakti National Master Plan for Multi-Modal Connectivity aims to realize this seamless integration of infrastructural planning and development and energize the dreams of 1 billion Indians.
पीएम गति शक्ति नेशनल मास्टर प्लान भारत के इसी आत्मबल को, आत्मविश्वास को, आत्मनिर्भरता के संकल्प तक ले जाने वाला है। ये नेशनल मास्टर प्लान 21वीं सदी के भारत को गति शक्ति देगा। नेक्स्ट जनरेशन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और मल्टी मॉडल कनेक्टिविटी को इस नेशनल प्लान से गति शक्ति मिलेगी।
The National Gas Grid, which aims to usher a new era of Atmanirbhar Bharat and create a gas-based economy, is one such initiative. Distant corners of the country are being connected through an expansive network of natural gas pipelines to ensure uninterrupted supply of environment-friendly, economical and convenient natural gas. The laying of these pipelines is a massive and responsible task. Presently, India has a gas pipeline network of around 18,700 kilometers of natural gas pipeline, which is being expanded to around 36,000 kilometers with an estimated investment of over rupees 1 lakh crore. GAIL, the nation's leading natural gas transmission company, is currently constructing around 6,000 kilometers of pipelines across India under National Gas Grid with an investment of over rupees 25,000 crore. Spearheading the projects in Northeast India is Indradhanush Gas Grid Limited, a joint venture company of 5 oil and gas PSUs, ONGC, OIL, GAIL, IOCL and NRL. The ambitious Northeastern Region Gas Grid project will connect all the 8 northeastern states to the national gas grid through Barauni-Guwahati gas pipeline. On completion, this natural gas pipeline grid would connect Guwahati to major cities of northeast states. To support this endeavor is PM Gati Shakti, the National Master Plan for Multi-Modal Connectivity. The plan includes the Gati Shakti digital platform, which can be used for multiple pre-project activities, preparation of land schedule, village maps and ROU proposals, identification of obstacles present along the pipeline, such as high voltage power lines, mines, etc. with high accuracy, synchronization with other infrastructure projects for better planning and efficient use of resources, information collation on existing and planned demand centers with industrial areas and demand hubs, optimum pipeline route determination for future infrastructure expansions and last miles, synchronized development of parallel energy corridors for expedited execution of projects, development of route sharing options for development of an integrated grid, reduction of redundancy in data in PGIS. The platform is envisioned to bridge interdepartmental gaps, in turn mitigating delays, improving transparency, ensuring digital record keeping and providing easy collaboration on projects. The platform can also be integrated with existing platforms and will enable easy and expeditious approvals in restricted areas, mobilization and single window clearances for the speedy execution and development of the national gas grid. As the government guides its efforts towards integration, the Gati Shakti digital platform will add momentum to the expeditious development of the national gas grid and realizing the future of energy transmission in India.
In my presentation, I will be is the is the which primarily controls the development of infrastructure related to midstream and downstream activities of petroleum and petroleum products and natural gas in the country. The objective is to protect the interest of consumers and entities. It is the balancing between the two, ensure uninterrupted and adequate supply, promote competitive and efficient markets. The PNGRB's current focus has been in line with what is the focus of the government. Just now we have seen an AV which is saying the focus of the government is development of the gas infrastructure. And PNGRB is working towards development of that infrastructure. And this gas infrastructure is being developed to achieve the government of India's objective of achieving the percentage of gas, which is as of now 6.4% in the energy basket, to 15% by 2030. While achieving this 1530, our targets, we also have a commitment which we have given to COP26 at Glasgow. The commitment is that we will reduce our emissions by 1 billion ton by 2030 and bring our net emission level to zero by 2070. How we will do that? We have to use cleaner fuels, which is a gas, and we also have to use the renewable energy. With this focus, PNGRB is currently working, and accordingly, PNGRB formulates the regulations. When we say regulations, these regulations are primarily to provide a level playing field to everyone. When I say level playing field, it means everyone who is partner to this growth of the country in gas infrastructure has the regulations which govern the open access, exclusivity, authorization, etc. Then PNGRB also authorizes the development of the pipelines, which just now we discussed about, that we have gas pipelines which are running across the country. We also have liquid product pipelines which are also running into 20,000 kilometers. These are also governed by PNGRB. We also have city gas distribution networks. We are looking for end-to-end solution. By putting up the pipelines, we are just moving the product from one state to another state, one source, that is LNG terminal, to final fertilizers, power, etc. Now these are finally moved through city gas distribution network to your households, to your vehicle through supply of CNG, and also to industrial and commercial. So it provides an end-to-end solution to end-to-end market for the gas also, and which ultimately will help in achieving the objective which we have set up, that we will increase the consumption of gas in this country from 6.4 to 15%. All these selections are done through a competitive bidding process, which is transparent and also provides, again I repeat, level playing field to each and every individual who wants to participate in the development of growth of infrastructure in this country. PNGRB also has a very important role, that is to educate the disputes between various entities. Whenever you go for this massive kind of infrastructure development, people have certain disputes within the entities and consumers. All these disputes are being handled by the PNGRB. Look at, when we talk about natural gas, where are we? We are at 6.4%. What is at 24%? One of our state, that is state Gujarat, is at 25 or 26%. It means wherever we have provided the infrastructure, the state of Gujarat has the infrastructure in terms of natural gas pipelines, it has the infrastructure in terms of city gas distribution network. Accordingly, the whole genetics of industry all around that gas has been developed. So the consumption pattern has gone to 26%. And where we have to reach? We have to reach only 15%, and that 15% by 2030. So all this is achievable once the environment is available, once the infrastructure is available, and access to gas is available. For doing that, we also know that currently per capita consumption of gas in this country is around, I'll say it's written 29, it is around 40 SCM, standard cubic meter per annum. Worldwide, this average is more than 360. So we are well below. We are only using 10% what world is using. So there is a substantial room for growth of gas in this country. Now look at gas infrastructure. When I say is the map of India, it shows various colors are available on this screen. First is green color. It shows the pipelines which are already in place. Just now the AV also confirmed that we have around 18,000. We have already crossed 20,500 kilometers of pipeline which is in operation. We have another 15,000 of kilometer of pipeline which is at various stages of completion, like it is visible through dotted pipelines. We also have, in addition to that, LNG terminals which are coming on the western and eastern coast of India, as well as the southern coast. Now this is a complete ecosystem. This ecosystem, you have the sourcing, because natural gas, 50% of that is getting imported as an LNG. Now it is transported through pipelines after regasification at LNG terminals and then supplied to each and every corner through pipelines as well as city gas distribution networks. Now look at these numbers. Just now we are, as of today, we know the pipelines, what is the status. We go further, we see in city gas distribution where we stand. Today we have 87 lakh city gas PNG connections. We have around 3,700 CNG stations. We have industrial and commercial connections around 47,000. We have around 1.15 lakh inch kilometers of pipeline laid. When I say inch kilometer of steel pipeline laid in city gas distribution, it amounts to around 15,000 kilometers of steel pipeline. If we look at the laying of pipeline, it is only 20,000 which is operational in natural gas pipeline network, which we call it cross-country pipeline network. But another 15,000 kilometers of steel pipeline is in operation at the lower level, that is through city gas distribution. So integration of these two is very, very important. Unless until these two are integrated, we will not be able to achieve our intended objective of final consumption of gas and final improvement in the environment which we have all around. And we are also having one dubious distinction that in the world, major cities which are having pollution issues are in India. Once this gas is available everywhere, then automatically that tag will be removed and we will be living in cleaner cities. Now after in 10th round, in fact till 2017, only 20% of India's population were authorized to get the natural gas through CGD networks. Now from 2017 to 2021, we have reached to 98% of the public will have access to natural gas pipeline and 88% of the India's area will be covered. Look at this giant leap. Now we are not thinking in incremental growth. We are thinking about the growth which is leapfrogging to one stage to another stage. Look, we have 87 connections. These are intended to go to 11 crore by 2030. This type of growth is talked about 10x, 10 times growth in 10 years. In last few years, from 2019 onwards, if we see the growth in PNG business is around 18% per annum. In CNG, it is around 32%, and for laying of inch kilometer, it is around 38%. When we talk about the growth of infrastructure of this high potential, this talks about where we are going to be in 2030. We are talking about 10x growth in PNG connections. Similarly, CNG stations will also reach to around 20,000 by that number. And inch kilometer of pipeline, we are talking about 35,000 kilometers in terms of the cross-country pipeline. The CGD networks will have steel pipeline of more than 50,000 kilometers by 2030. If I come to Northeast India, the focus of the government is to provide growth to the northern east part of the country. In this, we have the pipelines. One is through Indradhanush gas grid, which is around 1,600 kilometer of pipeline, which is connecting all 7 states plus Sikkim of Northeast. In addition to that, to provide support to it, we have a Urja Ganga pipeline, which is being extended from Baroni to Guwahati. So now complete again for the northeast part, the ecosystem is being prepared that gas is available from any corner of India through one nation, one grid. Now PNGRB has added to one nation, one grid, one tariff. So this one nation, one grid and one tariff provides the another advantage to northeastern state, that cascading tariff of pipelines will not be applicable to northeastern states. So this will provide gas at a much cheaper rate. This will also encourage the industry to use the gas. We also are part of Northeast is said to be the greener one, pollution-free. It will be much more pollution-free. Tea state will have access to the natural gas, a cheaper gas. So it will give a further boost to the growth in the northeast part of the country. Now look at up to the 11th round. Before 11th round, we have only 40,000 connections in Assam. That is PNG connections. In another 8 to 10 years, these are expected to reach to 20 lakh. So this is the what is being planned for Northeast. And these are only in Assam. Similarly, in Tripura, from 52,000, it will go to 2,40,000. The number of CNG stations, which are around 20 in both these states, will go to around 600 based on the targets which has been given by these entities. On completion of these lines, which we are talking about in the Northeast state, that the Indradhanush gas grid, as well as the part of the Baroni-Guwahati pipeline, all other states like Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Manipur, all these states will also have access to CGD networks. So entire Northeast will be covered through CGD network. It will cover through supply of gas, and it has a large potential for the use of gas also. Integration of this program with PM Gati Shakti. We have already seen how the PM Gati Shakti program is helping, because at times we have seen that we have a 1,000-kilometer pipeline. Out of that, a small part, that is 10 kilometers, is balanced because there is no non-availability of ROU, or there is a land acquisition problem. Once this is integrated in this system, it helps in reduction of time to take the ROU, and complete project is completed. So even if a pipeline 1 kilometer is balanced, then the pipeline is not complete. So this integration helps. It helps in getting the clearances, not only for the purpose of ROU, it helps in getting the clearances for forest, environment, railways, and all other things are being helped to get the clearances, and the infrastructure development becomes faster. The gas reaches faster. And other way around, it also helps the industry that cost reduces or it doesn't increase. Because if the projects are delayed, it also has an impact on the cost. If you look at the total investment which is going to happen if in the Northeast alone, the 10,000 crore investment is going to come in the 11th round alone, for which we have around 18 districts in Assam and around 8 districts in Tripura. So we are talking about that kind of investment. Another 10,000 crore investment is there in the pipeline in Northeast. So such a huge investment is coming, which will also have a direct impact on generation of employment. This will create enormous opportunities for employment in this part of the country also. Now what we are looking for, that once we have a PM Gati Shakti program, which has the large projects getting integrated into it, and it takes care of the timely completion of those projects, we also have smaller projects called CGD projects. And these also require a support from the state governments. state government support in terms of when we said that we have provided a pipeline, we have also provided a network through CGD. You have to have policies which will promote the use of gas. We all know that gas is an environment-friendly, cleaner fuel. But finally, there is an effort is required from the state so that there are policies like, for example, if we give in Delhi, the commercial vehicles are banned for use of any other fuel than gas. Supreme Court has also banned use of pet coke in Delhi as well as NCR areas. Similar policies of use can help the promotion of natural gas in the particular state. We also need the rationalization of taxes. We have seen today that natural gas is not under GST. So because of that, the tax rate varies from one state to another state. If these are rationalized and kept at either it is covered under GST or these are rationalized, it will help the use of gases. Similarly, the CGD entities at times request that they are looking for permissions. And these permissions are with respect to getting NOCs for land use as well as the cost of that ROU. And these are also, we have seen the difference between one state and another state is 1:10. If all these things are integrated, then the demand will be created. And this demand, the focus this time is MSME. It is the demand for gas for micro, small, medium enterprises. And this micro, small, and medium enterprises will be served through CGD distribution networks, which are on the back will be served through natural gas pipeline. So this whole aim is we have one nation, one grid, one tariff, and altogether one system for supply of gas, whereas each and every customer gets a level playing field and gets the gas at a much cheaper rate. This is what I wanted to share with you. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here I would like to mention that our chief guest, the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, will be joining us in a short while from now. So may I humbly request all our presenters to kindly keep their presentations to 4 to 5 minutes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister's vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is the foundation stone for the working of this program. This program would not be complete without the active participation of all the stakeholders, including the various ministries, the government, and the private sector entities. In this regard, we now have a few presentations by the industry representatives and different central government ministries about their vision of Gati Shakti and their roles in it. May I invite Mr. Pankaj Singh, ED Projects, NHIDCL, the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, for his presentation. Kindly, sir.
Yeah, respected dignitaries and officers from the state and central government, good morning to all of you. As there is a time constraint, I'll be skipping few of my initial slides in which we have described the objectives and key features of the PM Gati Shakti. As we all know that the infrastructure has often been the back of which countries have transformed themselves. At the same time, infrastructure plan of a country must seamlessly and efficiently move goods and people across the country. Ministry of Road Transport and Highways is committed to the development of the national highways in the country, and with the rollout of the Bharatmala Pariyojana, an impetus has been given to the development of the road network as never before in the country. A holistic development of the infrastructure requires a coordinated approach involving independent government departments to work in close coordination and collaboration with the guided approach master plan. PM Gati Shakti is one such plan. And with this, I'll move forward for my presentation. As you know that the PM Gati Shakti is ensuring the integrated planning and implementation of the infrastructure projects by improving the efficiency on the ground of the ongoing projects, reduction of the cost, additional employment opportunities. The key features are the 16 infrastructure ministries have been joined on a common platform under a common umbrella for a common goal, that is to reduce the logistic cost of any infrastructure project, which has been a major challenge, which in our sector is around 10%, more than 10%, which we are want to reduce by 8%. The 5 key benefits emphasized in the Gati Shakti master plan, reducing the cost of the logistics by developing multimodal logistic parks, by improving the road network grids, by making the greenfield alignments, by making the bypasses. We are also aiming to achieve a higher employment generation, and it is presumed that the 50K man days of direct or indirect employment has been created by per kilometer construction of the road. Unlocking potential and agricultural growth, presently, which is around 35 billion, with the development of the multimodal logistic parks and the better road connectivities, this will also have a boost. And nevertheless, there will be a holistic booster of the tourism with the development of the road network. Network planning group, which has been constituted under PM Gati Shakti. Every ministry has designated its nodal officer. In our case, Deep Chaudhary has been nominated as a nodal officer from the ministry. And the 4-year program from 2021 to 2025, we have planned, and all the ministries are now on the PM Gati Shakti portal, are working together for facilitating better coordination among the infrastructure ministries, enhancing optimization of modification, expansion of new network, holistic development of region, reducing logistic cost, recommending multimodal connectivities. As we all know that we have a already ongoing project of multimodal logistic park in Jogigopa, and one we are also planning in Silchar, for which the DPR is on the way. I will be taking up those in the next slides. And then again the EGOS has to be briefed, and this group has to assist the EGOS. This is the picture of our road construction from 2013 to 2014. As we can see that from 13 to 14, the construction has increased. A target, 67% target we could achieve in 13-14, which increased to 89% in 15-16, and then it further increased to 93% in 19-20. And the last, in this financial year, we have achieved 121% of the construction what we targeted. That is 21% more what we targeted. And this is pan-India versus the northeastern region. In northeast also we can see that the construction has increased, and it has been increasing continuously from 2018-19 to 1,000 kilometers to this year already 1,400 kilometers. Ministry adopted, launched the Bharatmala Pariyojana in 2017. CCA has approved the phase 1 of the Bharatmala Pariyojana. Around 24,800 kilometer road network were approved in the Bharatmala Pariyojana, and 10,000 kilometer of residual ministry's earlier program, National Highway Development Program, also includes with this. So total 34,800 kilometers were envisaged to be developed under Bharatmala Pariyojana based on the origin and destination surveys, and different corridors were identified: economic corridors, interstate corridors, feeder corridors, border and international connectivity corridors, greenfield expressway. Altogether, 34,800 kilometer what has been identified by the Ministry of Road Transport under Bharatmala Pariyojana. Corresponding to this, I have shown the key projects in the northeast which we are implementing under this, and we have integrated to the NMP. One is the first one is the multimodal logistic part at Jogigopa, which is the basically the most important and key project which we have started. And the second is the we are constructing a new bridge at River Brahmaputra in connecting Gwalpara and Bongaigaon district. Already a two-lane bridge, road cum railways was there. And now we are doing another connecting one additional two-lane bridge. And then a very important Dhubri-Fulwari bridge, the biggest, largest bridge we can say that in the northeast or in the India, 20 kilometers bridge. We are connecting in Dhubli and Fulwari, connecting Assam and western part of the Meghalaya, West Gaurav Hills. And then one project in Arunachal, Singer River to Sajan River. And these are the 4 or 5 key projects which we have integrated in the NMP. A LEAP study, logistic enhancement, efficiency enhancement program was conducted by the Ministry of the Road Transport and Highways. And the sole objective was to, as I said, to reduce the logistic cost. Currently 14%, aim is targeting to reduce it by 10%. And for reducing this, what concept we have taken is, we have identified the freight corridor, we are upgrading it, multimodal logistic park, where the different modes we are, will be collecting the things, and then from the same modes we will be supplying it outwards. Existing debottlenecking of the existing structure, that has been very important. For this, we are making different bypasses, ring roads, and also the flyovers. By electronic toll collection, we are reducing the waiting time at the toll gates. BBIN corridor also has been planned to develop, that Bhutan, Bangladesh, India, Nepal corridor from Galefu to Mahendragarh. That is already in some different parts we are developing. This is the highways pan-India versus the northeast, just a comparison under different category of roads. What we are doing in the pan-India, around what is, I have already told, 34,800 kilometer with a total cost of 10,300. Against this, we are doing 1,875 kilometer of roads with 38,767 crore. Under Bharatmala, around 561 projects of 19,500 kilometer has already been taken up, and 30 projects aggregating 885 kilometer on appraisal stage. So total 20,000 kilometer under Bharatmala is either in progress or in the appraisal stage. Out of that, 6,700 kilometers have already been completed. Bharatmala projects, mainly the implementation modes are either engineering procurement contract or the hybrid annuity model or toll, BOT toll. However, in the northeast, mainly we are going on the EPC mode. And EPC mode, around 57% of the projects we are implementing in pan-India on EPC mode. However, this is around 90% for the northeast. This is a northeast economic corridor. We can see that the river Brahmaputra and then blue lines and the orange lines. This is the road network connectivity from Dibrugarh to Guwahati, Numaligarh, then again from Numaligarh to Nagaland to then we can go to east-west corridor, Dimapur, Kohima, Imphal, More. Then we move forward, Guwahati, there is a Jogigopa logistic park. Then the lower Assam, Bongaigaon, we move towards Dhubri. Then Dhubri, Srirampur to Dhubri, we have connected from the east-west. Then we can go to the west, Meghalaya. Then further to Bangladesh. From West Meghalaya to Bangladesh, we can go from RMB road, which is already there. And the downward, we can come to Guwahati to this east-west corridor. Saurashtra to Silchar, we can come to Silchar, then Silchar to Badarpur, Churaibari, Agartala, and then Silchar to Azol. This all connectivity is already either in progress or in the planning stage. Most of them are in progress. And with this, we are also giving connectivity to the several ghat roads for the IWT. This is a screenshot of the dashboard in which this mega food parks being developed by the different infrastructure ministries, how we are giving connectivity to different mega food parks in Northeast. This is the, this we can see, sorry. And there are fishing sea and food cluster, which has been identified in the PM Gati Shakti. The connectivity of this, we can see with our road network grid. The textile zone in Dharang is already connected with the east-west. The major projects under PM Gati Shakti, which we have under Bharatmala, which we have already linked with the PM Gati Shakti, is the Brahmaputra bridge at Jogigopa. The bridge is under construction. It is connecting very important cities of Gwalpara and Bongaigaon, which will give boost to the multimodal logistic park. This is Brahmaputra bridge again, Dhuri to Fulbari, which I told. This 20-kilometer long bridge, more than 5,000 crore project. This will give a, this will reduce the distance of Assam to Meghalaya, which is now 205 kilometer to 20 kilometer. From 7.5 hours, the time will be reduced to 30 minutes or so. This is a photograph of ongoing project, this Dhuri Fulbari bridge, which we just saw, which is ongoing. The bridge at Jogigopa. Multimodal logistic park, which is conceptualized in Jogigopa. We can see the freight aggregating and how it is disbursing at the multimodal park, and also the value-added services, storage and warehouses we are providing. The project is under construction. There are 3 ongoing packages. This is the concept which I am skipping due to time constraint, but there 35 multimodal logistic parks have been identified in the country. 15 have been identified in the first phase, and the Jogigopa logistic park is the first logistic park under Bharatmala, which is being under construction in Jogigopa, Assam. The 3 projects, the 3 packages, civil work, internal connectivity under the park, then external connectivity, the national highway grid, and then giving connectivity to the IWT. All the 3 packages are under progress. This is the bird's eye view of the MMLP Jogigopa. This is the road grid which we are planning, which all are under construction. Downwards, the river Brahmaputra and IWT yellow. This is the real-time photograph of the packages under Jogliopa. The key imperatives of success of this, as we know that we have to reduce the logistic cost, we have to reduce the vehicle operating cost, we need support for the early land acquisition, clearances from the different ministries, and sharing best practices across all these stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Once again, I would like to humbly request our presenters to kindly keep their presentations to 5 minutes maximum, because our Honorable Chief Minister of Assam is already on his way. Well, our next presentation is by the Ministry of Civil Aviation. The presentation will be made by Mr. Rahul Nandi, Joint General Manager, Cargo, Airport Authority of India, Cargo Logistics and Allied Services Company Limited. Kindly, sir.
Respected dignitaries and the august audience, regarding Gati Shakti, it has already been elaborated by Honorable Prime Minister as well as Joint Secretary DPIIT. So I won't be talking on that. I'm representing AI Cargo Logistics and Allied Services Company Limited, which is a subsidiary of Airports Authority of India under Ministry of Civil Aviation. Our main focus is to create infrastructure at all the airports in the country, and special focus has been given for Northeast so that all states are very well connected internally. The advantage of Northeast is the unique locational advantage where it is connecting China, Myanmar, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and a lot of business is happening between these countries. Government of India has come with a regional connectivity scheme, giving subsidiaries, and in Assam there are 4 regional connectivity RCS airports. Arunachal has 3, Nagaland has 1. Rest all airports comes under a normal scheme. And now the focus for cargo development at each of these airports is already on, where AI Cargo Logistics is already building a cargo terminal at Imphal, at Agartala, and Guwahati already has an international cargo terminal as well as a domestic cargo terminal. We also have a 1-acre land here where we are planning to make an integrated cargo terminal as well. Movement of cargo has started from almost all the places in Northeast where we do not have cargo terminals yet, but seeking permission from the Bureau of Civil Aviation Security, we have started moving cargo through the passenger terminal. I won't be taking long, so I'll be skipping few slides. The Agartala cargo terminal is going to be an international cargo terminal, which is being developed on 1,100 square meters of area, and will have a capacity to handle 7,556 metric ton annually. Imphal is coming up with 1,593 square meters of cargo terminal with a capacity of 58,145 metric ton annually. Almost all airlines are flying out of Northeast, especially Assam. And Assam also handles international cargo in terms of transshipment, because there are no international flights from Northeast as of now, which is a biggest drawback at the moment, I would say. So Indigo and Air India, they are bringing transshipment import cargo into Guwahati, but there is no outgoing cargo from Guwahati at the moment. The main commodities, what we handle from here is perishables, and Northeast has immense potential for perishables. Government had, I'll come to the slide later, where government had come up with a scheme called Krishi Udan to promote agricultural products. But unfortunately, advantage could not be taken of this scheme because of non-availability of international airlines. And another very big factor which I think is lack of education to the farmers. So I can request state governments to kindly form a committee so that these farmers can be educated, so that, you know, they can export the agricultural products out of Northeast to the domestic markets as well as to international markets. The distance between the states and Northeast are not very far and can be connected very easily in 4 to 5 hours. So connecting air and road would be a very big advantage for Northeast, since Northeast already has a huge production of a lot of agricultural products like ginger, where MSTC conducts auction and which goes to tons and tons, which are normally moved by road, unfortunately not by air because of the high rate of the airlines. Krishi Udan had also given a scheme where the airline freight would be reduced to 50%, and also the infrastructural rates would also be 50%, but people could not take advantage of it so far. How can we connect to the border countries? Well, Bangladesh has a great yield of ready-made garments, and their infrastructure is such that they are unable to handle all this movements. So what they have started now is to bring such cargo into Calcutta by road, and at the border there's a change of truck, and from there it comes to the Kolkata airport, and from there it's airborne. And similar way, since Agartala is attached to Bangladesh, it is just about 150 kilometers from Dhaka. So this concept can also be worked out as far as Agartala and other states connecting Bangladesh is concerned. Big brands like Inditex, like Zara, you must have heard of it, Marks and Spencer's, Gap, they're looking forward to movement through India to Europe, from where they consolidate and they send it back to the different countries. So the future plans is of Ministry of Civil Aviation is to create e-commerce hub at all the airports, pack house facilities for processing agricultural products in the vicinity of the airports, temperature-controlled reefer vans from farmers' hub to the airports, educating farmers for export of their products, emphasis on low-cost multimodal logistics, optimizing time. So with this, I'd like to end here because there's already a bell ringing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now take a short break for tea, and we'll reassemble again in another 10-15 minutes. And after the tea break, the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam and the Honorable Union Minister and Union Minister of State will be joining us and will be addressing the August gathering. So, in 5. Thank you.
close off. Hello. Hey. 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 Hey, hey. Hey, 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 check. Hello, hello. Hey, hey.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I request all our delegates to kindly take their seats. The Honorable Chief Minister of Assam will be here with us in a short while from now. I request everyone to kindly take your seats. সকলোকে আসন গ্ৰহণ কৰিবলৈ আমি অনুৰোধ জনালো খন্তে সময় পাছতে অসমৰ মাননীয় মুখ্যমন্ত্ৰী মহোদয় আমাৰ মাজত আহি উপস্থিত হ'বহি सभी से अनुरोध है कि वे अपना आसन ग्रहण करें I request everyone to kindly take their seats. I request everyone to kindly take their seats. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honorable Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji. Aapka swagat hai, sir. We also welcome the Honorable Union Minister of State for Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Rameshwar Teli Mahoday. Swagatam janaisu. I also welcome the Honorable Ministers from the Northeast states, the central and state government officials, representatives of various organizations, and friends from the media for the inaugural session of the historic Gati Shakti Northeastern Zone Conference. I request all our guests to kindly take their seat on the dais, and I request all our delegates to kindly take their seats. I request all our delegates to kindly settle down. Prime Minister's Gati Shakti, ladies and gentlemen, is a transformative approach for economic growth and sustainable development. An approach driven by 7 engines, namely roads, railways, airports, ports, and other means of energy connectivity. All 7 engines which pull forward the economy in unison and sabka prayas, that is, with the efforts of the central government, state government, and private sector. And today we are here to witness the inaugural session of Gati Shakti focusing on Northeastern Zone. We'll start the session by presenting a short film on PM Gati Shakti. This film, ladies and gentlemen, encapsulates the vision of Gati Shakti. Before we start the audiovisual. I request all our guests to kindly settle down. Here we have the audiovisual.
बचपन से हर गली, हर सड़क, हर चौराहे, हर गांव या हर शहर में ये सूचना पट्टी देखते और पढ़ते आए हैं। हमने ये भी देखा है कि एक सड़क बनने के बाद संबंधित विभाग को याद आता है कि यहां तो ऑप्टिकल फाइबर लगाना बाकी था, या कुछ दिनों बाद गैस पाइपलाइन बिछाने के लिए फिर से खुदाई शुरू हो जाती है। कहीं सड़क और रेल तो पहुंच जाती है, लेकिन इन दोनों को जोड़ने के लिए आवश्यक लास्ट माइल कनेक्टिविटी नहीं पहुंच पाती। इन सभी के पीछे सबसे बड़ा कारण है कि अलग अलग विभाग अलग अलग काम करते रहते हैं, और इन सब का परिणाम प्रोजेक्ट के पूरा होने में देरी, लागत में वृद्धि और आम जनता को परेशानी। ऐसा भी देखा गया है कि एक प्रोजेक्ट तो पूरा हो गया, लेकिन दूसरे प्रोजेक्ट के साथ कोऑर्डिनेशन के अभाव से जन सामान्य को उसका पूरा लाभ नहीं मिल पाता है। आइए इसे एक उदाहरण द्वारा समझते हैं। एक फर्टिलाइजर प्लांट तो स्थापित हुआ, लेकिन उस तक गैस पाइपलाइन की व्यवस्था नहीं की गई। गैस पाइपलाइन की अनुपलब्धता के कारण वो प्लांट पूरी तरह से उपयोग में नहीं लाया जा सका, जिससे करोड़ों की लागत से बने उस प्लांट का पूरा लाभ जन सामान्य तक नहीं पहुंच सका। इसी प्रकार सड़क निर्माण का काम कई एजेंसियां करती हैं। जैसे प्रमुख राजमार्गों का निर्माण NHAI करती है। इसके बाद आगे की सड़क का निर्माण राज्य PWD करती है। दूर दराज के गांवों की सड़कें प्रधानमंत्री ग्राम सड़क योजना के अंतर्गत बनती हैं, और सीमावर्ती क्षेत्रों में सड़कें बॉर्डर रोड ऑर्गेनाइजेशन BRO बनाती है। किसी भी एक विभाग के मध्य कोऑर्डिनेशन के अभाव से लोगों तक सड़कों का पूरा लाभ नहीं पहुंच पाता। सरकार ने देखा कि इंटर डिपार्टमेंटल कोऑर्डिनेशन के अभाव से प्रोजेक्ट कंप्लीशन में बहुत विलंब होता आया है। सरकार के अलग अलग विभागों ने अपने सिस्टम को किया फास्ट ट्रैक। पिछले 7 सालों में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में तमाम ऐसे प्रोजेक्ट्स बने हैं जिसमें सारे विभागों ने समन्वय के साथ काम किया, जिससे बड़े अच्छे परिणाम आए। जैसे कि रेल मंत्रालय ने कॉमन ड्राइंग अप्रूवल सिस्टम का गठन किया और उसे भी कर दिया ऑनलाइन, जिससे सारे अप्रूवल्स एक ही पोर्टल पर मिल जाए। भारतीय रेल की इस गति से 6 महीने में मिलने वाले अप्रूवल्स अब 2 से 3 महीने में ही मिलने लगे हैं। इसी प्रकार पर्यावरणीय मंजूरियों के लिए भी 3 अलग अलग ऑनलाइन सुविधा आरंभ कर दी गई है, जिसके अप्रूवल्स में पहले करीब 2 साल का वक्त लगता था। अब यह अवधि घटकर महज कुछ महीनों की हो गई है। रोड परिवहन ने नए नेशनल हाईवे और एक्सप्रेसवे के राइट ऑफ वे के एक्विजिशन के साथ यूटिलिटी कॉरिडोर का एक्विजिशन करना शुरू कर दिया है, जिससे सड़क के साथ साथ ऑप्टिक फाइबर केबल, टेलीफोन, पावर केबल्स को भी साथ में बिछाया जा सके और उसके लिए अलग से राइट ऑफ वे एक्विजिशन करने की जरूरत ना पड़े। इन सारे प्रयासों से यूटिलिटी लगने में बहुत तेजी आ रही है और इनका लाभ जन सामान्य तक जल्द से जल्द पहुंच रहा है। इसी प्रकार दूर संचार विभाग ने राज्य सरकारों की मदद से राइट ऑफ वे के एक्विजिशन की प्रक्रिया को सरल बनाया है, जिससे टेलीफोन और OFC केबल डालने की प्रक्रिया तेज हो चुकी है और अब टेलीफोन और इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी गांव-गांव तक पहुंचाई जा रही है। अब समय है इन प्रयासों को इंस्टीट्यूशनलाइज करने का। जब देश आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव मना रहा है, तब समय है इन प्रयासों को गति देने का, शक्ति देने का। इस बार लाल किले से प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा,
भारत को आधुनिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के साथ ही इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर निर्माण में होलिस्टिक अप्रोच, इंटीग्रेटेड अप्रोच अपनाने की बहुत जरूरत है। आने वाले कुछ ही समय में प्रधानमंत्री गति शक्ति का नेशनल मास्टर प्लान करोड़ों देशवासियों को सपना करने वाली एक बहुत बड़ी योजना लेकर के हम आपके सामने आने वाले हैं। लाखों नौजवानों के लिए रोजगार के नए अवसर लेकर के आने वाली है।
विकास में गति की नई इंटीग्रेटेड और होलिस्टिक अप्रोच की शक्ति, यानी कि प्रधानमंत्री गति शक्ति, नेशनल मास्टर प्लान फॉर मल्टी मोडल कनेक्टिविटी। इसके अंतर्गत इसरो द्वारा विकसित बाइसैग-एन इंटीग्रेटेड पोर्टल पर 16 मंत्रालयों को जोड़ने वाले 200 से ज्यादा लेयर्स काम कर रहे हैं, जिससे सभी विभागों को एक दूसरे के काम की मिलेगी विजिबिलिटी। पीएम गति शक्ति योजना द्वारा रेल, रोड, पोर्ट और सिविल एविएशन सभी आ जाएंगे एक बड़े अम्ब्रेला प्लान के तहत। अब पोर्टल के माध्यम से किसी भी विकास एवं निर्माण कार्य में सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स के बीच समन्वय होगा, जिसके तहत एक ऐसी व्यवस्था बनाई गई है कि सभी ग्रुप में एक साथ बैठकर बेहतर प्लानिंग कर सकेंगे। इससे लैंड एक्विजिशन के साथ साथ काम भी एक साथ होगा, तो परियोजनाओं की लागत में भी कमी आएगी। केंद्र सरकार से लेकर राज्य सरकार के विभागों तक, लोकल अर्बन बॉडी से लेकर निजी कंपनियों तक, सभी में होगा ऐसा तालमेल जो आज तक कभी नहीं देखा गया। नेशनल मास्टर प्लान से न केवल विभाग बल्कि उनकी योजनाएं भी एक छत के नीचे आएंगी, जिससे उनके अमल की गति बढ़ेगी। इसके कार्य करने की प्रक्रिया को एक उदाहरण द्वारा समझते हैं। अब जब किसी भी बंदरगाह की योजना बनती है तो वो आने वाले अगले 40 से 50 वर्षों को ध्यान में रखकर बनाई जाती है। तो इतनी विशाल स्तर की परियोजना अब सिर्फ शिपिंग मंत्रालय तक ही सीमित नहीं होगी, बल्कि सड़क और रेल नेटवर्क को भी उचित क्षमता के अनुरूप बनाया जाएगा। नेशनल मास्टर प्लान से यह भी पता लगाया जा सकता है कि कहां पर सड़क बनी है और कहां पर नई सड़क के निर्माण की आवश्यकता है। नेशनल मास्टर प्लान में हर मंत्रालय का डेटा निरंतर अपडेट होता रहेगा। यही नहीं, नेशनल मास्टर प्लान द्वारा किसी भी सामान को गंतव्य स्थान तक पहुंचाने के लिए सही मार्ग और किराए का चयन किया जा सकता है। एम्प्टी फ्लो डायरेक्शंस में ग्राहकों द्वारा माल ढुलाई में विशेष छूट ली जा सकेगी। मास्टर प्लान से संसाधनों का सर्वोत्तम उपयोग होगा, तभी तो पश्चिम भारत के प्लांट से आई खाद उत्तरी क्षेत्रों के खेतों को लहलहाएगी और किसानों में खुशहाली लाएगी। साथ ही नेशनल मास्टर प्लान निवेशकों को बताएगा कि जहां पर वे अपना निवेश करने वाले हैं वहां सड़क और रेल की उपलब्धता कैसी है, इंडस्ट्रियल एरियाज और आसपास का एनवायरनमेंट कैसा है। इससे बिजनेस और रोजगार के अवसर बढ़ेंगे। अब देश में गति की परिभाषा केवल यातायात ही नहीं, यहां शामिल है गति निर्णय की, गति सरकारी कार्यों की। इस प्लान को गति मिलते ही भारत में ऐसा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर आकार लेगा जिससे
रेल से रोड पूरक हो, रोड से सी पोर्ट पूरक हो, सी पोर्ट से पोर्ट पूरक हो,
ताकि रोड, रेल, बिजली, ऑप्टिक फाइबर केबल, गैस पाइपलाइन जैसी सुविधाओं से देश का कोई कोना वंचित ना रहे। तभी तो प्रगति में आएगी तेज गति। इंटीग्रेटेड मोबिलिटी द्वारा लोकल उत्पादों की बड़े बाजारों तक पहुंच बनेगी आसान। हमारे उद्योग भी होंगे कंपटीशन के लिए बेहतर तैयार और निर्यात होगा सुगम और देश की अर्थव्यवस्था के चक्के तेजी से घूमेंगे। वर्क इन प्रोग्रेस बनेगा वर्क इन पेस। प्रधानमंत्री गति शक्ति, नेशनल मास्टर प्लान फॉर मल्टी मोडल कनेक्टिविटी।
Can we have a round of applause and express our gratitude to our dynamic leader, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, who with his bold initiatives has taken our country to newer heights and has given us the new India. माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने हमेशा मल्टी मॉडल कनेक्टिविटी पे जोर दिया है। उनके अनुभव ने बदले और बढ़ते नए भारत से विश्व का साक्षात्कार कराया है और तीव्र गतिमान बनाया है। We also welcome the Honorable Minister, Shri Chandra Mohan Patwari Mahoday. I request you, sir, to kindly take your seat. Moving ahead, ladies and gentlemen, we now have a presentation by Bhaskaracharya Institute of Space Application and Geoinformatics, BISAC. BISAC is playing a pivotal role in the implementation of this program by mapping the whole Indian territory and integrating it with existing and planned infrastructures. The tools developed by BISAC will be used by all the stakeholders for the integrated planning for infrastructure development. This presentation will be done by Dr. Vinay Thakur, Additional Director General, BISAC.
A very good afternoon. Honorable Union Minister for Urban Development and Petroleum, Honorable Ministers from Northeastern states, Secretary Petroleum, Chairperson Indian Oil, Joint Secretary Ministry of Commerce, senior officers from state governments, central government and public sector, and ladies and gentlemen. As was apparent from the videos that Bhaskaracharya Institute is providing IT support for this project, so I will be covering what all is being done by us. Not only for PM Gati Shakti, we are working with Government of India and state governments on number of projects. And this is the service delivery mechanism which we generally follow, where my ministry, Ministry of Electronics and IT, provide vision, guidance, and then some funding also related to R&D activities. And we collaborate with state governments and central government ministries so that they can identify the problems, domain inputs, data validations, and then institutionalize mechanism. And somewhere, some nominal funding also related to that project. And together with these departments, we design the databases, proof of concepts, build the capacities together while interacting with them, and work out an integrated technology solution like PM Gati Shakti, where many departments are coming together to have an integrated solution out there. For this PM Gati Shakti master plan, which is very, very important, and the vision of Honorable Prime Minister, where we are integrating different processes together of different departments in order to have the comprehensiveness in terms that current and planned projects of these departments can be overlaid, can be integrated together so that one department can see the work of other department or projects of another department. Prioritization can be set up for different department together also, that prioritization can be worked out. I'll come out with the slides where we'll give some of the cases regarding them. Optimization in terms of the optimized solutions for infrastructure in terms so that we have the best of time and cost infrastructure laid out there. Synchronized efforts related to planning, execution and monitoring of different departments. Analytical, where visualization can be ensured at higher level, at minister's level, at secretary's level, and dynamic. We are integrating them with the databases of those departments. We are not creating them separate. So it is the dynamic updation of the databases which do happen out there. And this entire solution is on open source and in-house, where we provide geospatial tools, IT applications, web mobile apps, ERP in case some ERP solutions are needed, artificial intelligence. We are also working with Ministry of Defense, Indian Army and other wings of military forces in order to provide them AI-based solutions. So here also we can build those solutions out there for PM Gati Shakti project. Database designing, global system for satellite, image processing, and remote sensing. We do provide a multi-sector approach. It is not only a single sector as I was talking, depending on the requirement and purpose. It is 2D, 3D, and 4D in terms of the time series mechanism which is built into the system. Standardized, authenticated, compatible, because they have to come on a single portal, so they need to be compatible. Common infrastructure and common system can be used, and seamless availability of data in any of the formats which can be built, which is built on this system. I'll just give you, this is a small example how one database over other are superimposed in case it can be forest or canal map or village map, village GIS, city maps, all can be worked together. This is one area where GIDC estate in government of Gujarat, and entire mapping has been done on this. These are the roads inside that estate, bore wells, electrical lines. These are the details of the various plots, whether they are free or they are allotted or reallotment is possible, and there are systems around where one can apply and get the allotment of these plots. As I was talking of standardization, we have a different hierarchies. We have right now around 700 plus layers of the government for the country. So we have different hierarchy built into this, say administrative boundaries, where we have the database up to village level, habitation and villages, and we are also trying to integrate with land record modernization program of Department of Land Resources so that we can have a survey maps also integrated with them. Similarly, for political system up to constituency level, then we have a scheme-based hierarchies also and theme-based hierarchies also. But these departments do work as per their own hierarchies, and through this system, we want to provide them facility so that these hierarchies, the horizontal integration and connectivity across these departments can be ensured. So it is going to be a web-based system with the geospatial, large-scale, multi-sector capabilities, navigations of hierarchy, which I was talking of, integrated with ministries and states, web map-based services for integration of API-based applications, for integration of data with different departments, and visualization, site suitability, planning, regulatory approvals, synchronization, prioritization, monitoring, everything is built into this platform, how the planning do take place. A few examples I would like to give. In case there is any alignment, so we have a 3D data for entire country. We have land use maps, we have soil series map, infrastructure somewhere, the projects which are coming through you, departments, habitation, source of distance. And so with this imagery, we can build on and then provide you the best of the planning for any of your resources or alignment out there. Similarly, for land acquisition, in case when government acquires land, that time also we need to find out how much land is to be acquired, who are the owners from which we have to acquire. So in case you have this database available with you, within seconds or minutes we can find out that, okay, these are the people who are to be rehabilitated or the funds are to be given to them, and this much area is to be acquired using this tool. Similarly, government of Gujarat came out to us that they wanted the coastal corridor proposal to be finalized, and they gave, this was a corridor which was to pass through 4 districts of Bharuch, Surat, Navasari and Valsad, and then they have given few parameters to us also, and total length of coastal corridor was 300. They told that following things are to be avoided, not to be included: forest, sanctuaries, eco-sensitive zone, coastal regulation zone, wetland and all. And few things are to be considered like national highways, state highways, railway connectivity, airport, tourist places and industries. So these were the initial parameters given by them that this has to be kept in mind. So we overlaid district boundaries, district headquarters, taluka boundaries, national highways, state highways, major district roads. We are also collaborating with PMGSY for their database. Along with this, railway lines, river and water bodies, sanctuaries and national parks, forest areas. So everything built into this, mining, CRS boundaries, airports, and then mapped start to end locations out there. Some draft alignment was also done by their local PWD, which was also given to us. And based on these parameters, based on the definitions given by that department, and then we have modified their alignment a little bit. And not only modified, we have also shown them that, okay, you have to take a permission from canal network, you have to take, this river is crossing by, you have to take permission from GatiShakti Shakti department, railway crossings, industrial parks out there, Priyatan locations, canal crossing. So this is how the entire planning, entire alignment of that route has been done and suggested, and then work has been started by government of Gujarat. This is a land acquisition which I was talking of. Similarly, another example which is the permission to lay the railway track out there, and both sides were forest sanctuaries. So we analyze all the data. Based on that data, we have worked out so that it is not going to touch, or even if there is going to be some touch out there with any of the sanctuaries, that has to be minimum, and we have decided and finalized the nominal route for it. Similarly, a new dedicated freight corridor, which has been proposed by Ministry of Railway. For that also, they want something, and then we provided them the details of various others, and it was found that the track which they proposed had some wildlife sanctuaries, industrial areas, some nearby the cement factories. So based on that, we aligned them and then suggested that this could be a possible route out there where we intersection with mine and all can be ignored, and then the route can be finalized. So this is the proposed dedicated freight corridor planned with them. And similarly, when laying the Khadwa transmission line in government of Gujarat, so we sat with them and then proposed them they gave that this is going to the length covering 4 places, Khavda to Ahmedabad and other places. So we also suggested to them alternative ways of, so that we have a minimal and optimized alignment of the transmission line out there. So what we have built into this and what can be done out there, we can have entire regulation fixed into the portal. If it is a sanctuaries, eco-sensitive zone, forest, water bodies, habitations, mineralized zones, infrastructure, so everything can be built into this, and then it will provide a single window type of system for any NOCs, and as well as planning and monitoring also of the systems out there. I'll give you one small example. We are working with Ministry of Mining, where the mining surveillance is happening through a system. In case we are changing the satellite imageries after every 15 days, and as and when there is a change in colors, the system alerts and then sends those alerts automatically goes to Indian Bureau of Mines, Department of Mines in state governments. I'll not take much time. Similarly, in case you have to take any department has to take any permission out there in forest, they can fill this form. They can also map their parameters on the map, and then accordingly everything will be available to forest department, and they can decide and then make available the permissions. And similarly for regulatory mechanisms out there, this is a railway network is entirely available with us. Then railway network, gauge conversion, doubling lines, new networks with plant. Sometimes it happens that some of the dams being planned can be done on this, where the exact planning can be done out there. You can determine the water level going up. So this type of 3D modeling is available with us. Similarly, we are working very closely with the Ministry of Road Transport. So their system and our system is integrated together, their database, and where we can, through a system, we can directly find it out. For Northeastern also, we are working with the BRO, and all the projects, highway projects related to Northeast are mapped on a single map, so that while planning, the planning can be done in much better manner. We have a land database of government land, so that is also included as part of wherever needed. So that is all from my side. So this is an integrated system which is going to support PM Gati Shakti program to provide all the ministry a better decision-making tools. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for such an insightful presentation. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, we proceed to the felicitation ceremony of our dignitaries. We are elated and honored to have with us for the inaugural session of PM Gati Shakti, the Honorable Union Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji. We would now like to welcome him in a traditional way. He'll be welcomed by Shri Pankaj Jain, Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. आज के इस ऐतिहासिक अवसर पर आपका तहे दिल से हम स्वागत अभिनंदन करते हैं। We once again welcome you, sir. We now welcome the Honorable Union Minister of State in the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Rameshwar Teli Mahoday, and he'll be welcomed by Shri S.M. Vaidya, Chairman IOCL. Welcome you, sir. We now welcome Shri Chandra Mohan Patel, Honorable Minister for Industries and Commerce, Public Enterprises, Transport, Skill, Employment and Entrepreneurship, Act East Policies, Welfare, Minorities, Government of Assam. And he'll be welcomed by Shri S.M. Vaidya, Chairman IOCL. আজিৰ অনুষ্ঠানটি আপোনাক স্বাগতম জনাইছো। We now welcome the Honorable Minister for Soil and Water Conservation, Government of Nagaland, Shri V. Kasiho Sangtam, and he'll be welcomed by Shri D.S. Nanavre, Director Pipelines, IOCL. We welcome you, sir. We now welcome the Honorable Minister for Education, Law, Legislative and Parliamentary Affairs, Land, Revenue and Disaster Management, Government of Sikkim, Shri Kunga Nima Lepcha. And he'll be welcomed by Shri D.S. Nanavare, Director, Pipelines, IOCL. Welcome you, sir. We now welcome the Honorable Minister for Food and Civil Supplies and Consumer Affairs, Industries and Commerce, Shri Manoj Kanti De, and he'll be welcomed by Shri S.C. Mishra, CMD Oil. Welcome you, sir. We now welcome the Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Shri Pankaj Jain, and he'll be welcomed by G. Ramesh, Executive Director and State Head, Indian Oil AOD SO and State Level Coordinator, Assam. We welcome you, sir. We now welcome Shri Rajendra Ratnu, Joint Secretary, Department of Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and he'll be welcomed by Shri Sanjay Kumar, Executive Director, Marketing NG and RLNG, GAIL. I request Shri Sanjay Kumar to kindly stay back as we welcome Shri S.M. Vaidya, the Chairman, Indian Oil Corporation Limited. Thank you, sir. And we once again welcome all our dignitaries on the dais. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, is on his way to this ceremony. Well, I now request Sri Pankaj Jain, Secretary, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, to kindly deliver the welcome address. Kindly, sir.
A very good afternoon to all of you, and it is an absolute delight for me and a real honor to welcome all of you here this morning who have joined us. This session has been on since the morning, and in this particular session now, we have been graced by the Honorable Minister for Petroleum as well as Urban Affairs, Dr. Hardeep Puriji. We've also been joined by the MOS for Petroleum, Shri Rameshwar Teliji. To both, a very warm welcome. Thank you very much, sirs, for joining us. And I think your presence today really inspires us to take on this task, to take on this awareness building about Gati Shakti and spread the message. I think we are also particularly fortunate that today we will be joined, of course, by the Honorable Chief Minister of Assam very shortly. But the fact that this event is something where we have ministers not only from the state of Assam, we also have them from the states of Nagaland, from Sikkim and from Tripura. It's something which I would really welcome them over here. And it's a real pleasure again to have you here. I'm sure that you will be taking back the message from this entire initiative of a joined-up approach back to your states and be able to communicate this into the rank and file of the government, so that the entire intent and purpose of Gati Shakti, of actually making sure that synergies happen, of actually ensuring that holistic approaches take place, this gets internalized in such a way that projects become efficient, projects deliver value to citizens, and wastage and duplication of effort is avoided. It's a real pleasure to have all of you joining here, and we also are fortunate again to have the Joint Secretary from DPIIT, who also has travelled here from Delhi to join us. So I welcome all of you. So thank you very much, and I think to CMD, the Chairman Indian Oil, CMD from Oil India, who have also joined and have helped put together this event. So to the entire family from the oil fraternity, the oil and petroleum and natural gas industry, as well as from the host state, which is Assam, for helping us. So a very warm welcome to all of you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for setting the tone of the ceremony. I now request the Honourable Minister for Soil and Water Conservation, Government of Nagaland, Shri V. Kasiho Sangtam, to kindly address the gathering.
A very good afternoon, everyone. Respected Sri Hardeep Puriji, Union Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, Sri Himanta, Sri Rameshwar Tali, Minister of State, PNG, Government of India, Honorable Ministers from Northeast states, dignitaries on the dais and on the floor. At the outset, I, on behalf of the Government of Nagaland, and in my own behalf, also convey our appreciation and welcome PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, multimodal connectivity to economic zone with the aim to incorporate the infrastructure and schemes of various ministries and state governments into a seamless platform to be designed and executed with a common vision. We are also made known that the master plan is rolled out for building holistic development of infrastructure projects for multi-dimensional connectivity and to simplify time-taking application, approval process, multiplicity of regulatory norms through the schemes. taking the opportunity of this initiative for faster and early execution of projects. Through integrated approach, I would like to address this conference the urgency of oil and gas infrastructural connectivity in the state of Nagaland. The state has substantial resources of petroleum and natural gas all along the belt of Sikkim bordering Assam. As the terrains are not easily accessible, appropriate integrated approach with adequate infrastructure development would be largely benefit the state and the nation as a whole through these resources. I would like to also inform to the resumption of oil exploration and production of petroleum and natural gas is taken up in a positive manner by the state government of Nagaland and the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India. Apart from the petroleum and natural gas, our major minerals like coal is largely deposited in the western part of Nagaland along the belt of Sikkim, while limestones and multi-mineral bearing manganite deposits are spread over the Naga Hills of Light Belt in the extreme eastern part of bordering Myanmar. Although substantial mineral resources are available in the state, the rugged hilly terrains with poor road connectivity and lack of other infrastructure could not tap these potential resources in the state. With the vision of Look East policy, it may be appropriate that PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan, integrated, synchronized planning and scheme of various infrastructure projects of multimodal connectivity approach will create a venue for setting up mineral-based industry in these remote areas and immensely improve various sectors of the economic zone. Moreover, this infrastructure connectivity will create ease of doing business and trading opportunities by further connecting with the Southeast Asian countries. However, as of today, in the context of road infrastructure, connectivity, and other infrastructure with respect to the mineral resources, Nagaland is far behind the mainland. The state requires full support from the Central Ministry for Exploration and Development of both major and minor minerals too. Hence, it is indicated to say that the Northeast states would greatly benefit through this conference by understanding the technology, solution, and spatial planning tools designed for efficient implementation and timely clearance of projects. Also, optimal synchronization and planning of the project would enable project to be completed in time, resulting in high economic and growth of creation of jobs too. Lastly, I hope that PM Gati Shakti National Master Plan surely take the Northeast states to the road of economic development faster as expected. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I now request the Honourable Minister for Education, Law, Legislative and Parliamentary Affairs, Land Revenue and Disaster Management, Government of Sikkim, Sri Kunga Nimal Lepcha sir, to kindly share his thoughts. Kindly, sir.
Good afternoon to you all. It is a great privilege for me to be representing the state of Sikkim, which is a very small state with a population of barely 8 lakhs and an area of 7,096 square kilometer. But they say that every drop of atom makes an ocean, so Sikkim can also contribute in the overall development of the nation. In today's conference, I would like to extend, on behalf of the state of Sikkim, people of Sikkim, our warmest greetings to all present here today. Honorable Union Minister for Petroleum, Shri Hardeep Singh Puri ji, Union Minister of State for Petroleum, Shri Tuli ji, all honored ministers who are present from the northeastern states, distinguished personalities representing the state government as well as union government and all stakeholders here. Multiplicity of agencies involved in delivery of physical infrastructure has always plagued the Indian cities, resulting in lack of planning and coordination. For example, Once a road is constructed by one agency, other agencies dig up the already constructed road, again for activities like laying of various utility services, including underground cables, gas pipelines, etc. The provision for creation of Metropolitan Planning Committee and the District Planning Committee enshrined in our Constitution has not been able to yield the desired result of coordination for delivery of infrastructure, thus resulting in loss of precious capital investments leveraged from various sources, as well as causing immense inconvenience to the public at large. The scenario is no different both at the state and the national levels. Individual ministries and departments are often in silos, leading to poor planning and execution, ultimately leading to delays in the project implementation. So far, the concerted effort to bridge the gaps for effective planning and coordination have been screaming for attention only to be ignored for the reasons unknown to any logical mind. This is where the Gati Shakti initiatives hope to bring a positive change. Particularly in a small state like Sikkim and other northern states, hilly states. The Gati Shakti is a welcome model which has been not only conceived by Honorable Prime Minister of India, but also our implementation, because we suffer quite a lot because of natural calamities, men of calamities, landslides, we have got flash floods, then forest fires, and drought. So whatever little bit of land masses we have, these are washed away. In the process, what happens is all these implementing the infrastructure development gets constrained. However, the Gati Shakti, which has now come to stay, will be able to enable us to go ahead with the implementation of the scheme in the right direction. The effort of the Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi to attempt to address this issue by launching a national master plan for multi-modal connectivity, leveraging digital technology will surely help in promoting inter-ministerial cooperation for better and faster outputs and prevent wasteful expenditure. The initiative taken by Honorable Prime Minister is also expected to ensure sustainable connectivity, which is key to development and prosperity of our country. The proposed mapping of existing and future connectivity infrastructure envisages shaping India into the business capital of the world. The integrated and seamless connectivity for movement from one mode of transport to another envisioned by Gati Shakti has huge potential to revolutionize whole development process in our country. Taking a cue from the launch of this digitally powered multi-social, multi-modal approach for optimization of resources and infrastructure delivery, the government of Sikkim will surely make out full efforts to follow the path of well-coordinated infrastructure to serve delivery proposal to all levels of operation in the state. I would, however, like to draw the attention of this August House towards some of the impending issues which need to be addressed for making the effort successful. They are declining private demand and investment in the post-COVID scenario, structural problems in land acquisition leading to litigations, tedious and time-consuming process for environmental clearance leading to very slow rate of project implementation by global standards. Although Gati Shakti is a much needed step in the right direction, it needs to be cemented with a stable and predictable regulatory and institutional framework to make the effort robust and sustainable. On behalf of the government of Sikkim, I would like to congratulate Honorable Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi, the Honorable Minister of Petroleum and Gas and Housing and Urban Affairs, Sir Hardeep Singh Puri ji, and the entire team behind this well-perceived and much-longed intervention. Sikkim, under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, fully geared up to support this national initiative and foresight in the right direction. There are certain initiatives taken by the dynamic leadership of our Chief Minister. Like, as I have pointed out, Sikkim is a small state. We are constrained because of the very limited land, and more than 40% of our area is covered by forest. One of the important steps which has been taken, initiated by the Honorable Chief Minister, the state government of Sikkim, is construction of tunnels in different phases. I think this construction of tunnels in the hilly states like Sikkim will facilitate in easy communication, not only for the common people, particularly it will help in the transportation of defense man and material, besides reducing the cost for transportation. With these few words, I would like to say thank you to the organizing department here for inviting us to this very important convention. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts. May I now humbly request the Honourable Minister for Food and Civil Supplies, Consumer Affairs, Industries and Commerce, Government of Tripura, Shri Manoj Kanti Deb, sir, to kindly deliver his speech. Kindly, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, Government of India, for organizing such useful events. Besides, I, on behalf of my state of Tripura, would like to thank and convey my sincere respect to Honorable Union Minister Sri Puri ji and Honorable Minister Sri Rameshwar Teli ji and other ministers of the northeastern states, along with the dignitaries, participants and media peoples present over here. Achieving an efficient, seamless, multimodal connectivity network is an important task of PM Gati Shakti. The Honorable Prime Minister of India, during his Independence Day speech of 2021, had emphasized that the National Master Plan, Gati Shakti, would help realize the dream of crores of our countrymen. In the proposed plan, all the existing and proposed economic zones have been mapped along with the multimodal connectivity infrastructure in a single platform. The National Master Plan will employ modern technology and the latest IT tools for the coordinated planning of infrastructure. A PM Gati Shakti जो कार्यक्रम माननीय प्रधानमंत्री ने लिया है वो देश को 100 साल के लिए आगे बढ़ाएगी। मैं उम्मीद करता हूँ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट, रेलवे कनेक्टिविटी, वाटरवे कनेक्टिविटी, एयरवे कनेक्टिविटी, इंटरनेट कनेक्टिविटी और किसानों का जो इनकम है